Bridging Lesson by Raina Crawford and Heidi Copeland. Our bridging lesson is a mini language arts unit covering a student text, Baseball Saved Us. On day one of the unit in the traditional print-centric lesson, students listen to the teacher read the story and follow along in their textbooks, followed by filling in a graphic organizer. This helps them gain background knowledge of the theme. By changing to an ebook, there are many positive affordances. Students can listen to the audio multiple times, can look up any words they are curious about, and can see words highlighted as they are being read. Then, instead of a paper and pencil activity with the graphic organizer, the teacher can provide this digitally, or the students can create their own using MindMash or other note-type apps. This allows them to show their understanding of the theme in more ways than written text. They can add images, videos, and audio. WorldBook Online can also increase their background knowledge in multimodal ways. On the second day, students complete a sequencing and retell activity by gluing sentence strips in the correct order. In our transformation of this activity, students now use Google Slides to order the events of the story by dragging the slides to a new order. If you've ever done the traditional paper and glue activity, you know what invariably happens. Students change their minds and have to rip the paper off and reposition it. Google Slides allows repositioning without torn paper and messy glue. Students can then present their sequencing retell to the class. Also, other text apps, such as Toontastic, could be used. On the third day of the mini unit, students return to the text for close reading and text evidence. In the traditional lesson, they painstakingly and sometimes incorrectly copy from the textbook into their language arts notebooks. By using the ebook, the positive affordances are that students can highlight the text evidence, copy it, and drop it into Google Docs or a student blog. Students are then able to comment and agree or disagree with the quote. This evaluation of the text evidence shows a much deeper understanding of the theme than merely copying out of a book. Finally, on days 4 and 5, students produce an expository writing with their text evidence. By using a digital tool such as Adobe Spark, Storybird, or other story or text app, students can again deepen their understanding with the inclusion of images, video, or audio. These can then be saved to blogs or e-portfolios for peer comments and to share their knowledge with parents. Raina will now model portions of the lesson.
So here's an example of taking a traditional print-based activity and moving it into the digital realm. So initially we had students write a retell, or even we might have cut out sentence strips and the students would have to paste them together in the correct order of the book. By transforming this lesson into a digital one from print to digital, we can actually make this much easier for students to move around and play around with the text, figuring out, okay, well, what was the first sentence of the story? Okay, I'll just drag it and drop it here. So not only is the manipulation of the activity made much easier by the digital interface, but the presentation will also be much more interactive and multimodal. The great addition with this is that in addition to being able to move them around more easily, students can then go ahead and add in other media such as photos, videos, perhaps radio recordings to enrich the retell and provide more meaning and context for the presentation. So Google Slides is a great addition for this originally print-centric lesson. So here we have another print-centric lesson that's been transformed digitally. What would have once been perhaps starting out as students writing in their notebook, writing their own inferences, and then maybe just sharing them one at a time in a discussion. By putting the discussion online, making it digital, it allows for students to participate all at the same time, and it allows for students to comment on each other's writing and read each other's ideas in a much more self-paced and open format. So for example, here we can see that Liam's already written a response, and what we can go ahead and do is actually highlight the text that we're interested in. So here, if I was a peer of Liam's, I would say, yes, this quote does show that. However, I think a better quote for your thesis or for your inference would be, and then I would go ahead and write that quote in. And I can leave that comment. Everyone can see that comment, but especially for Liam, who wrote it, would be important for him to go back and be able to reference that. It's also great because students can all be writing at the same time. Lori can be writing while Sean and Liam are writing, and it's great for students to be able to just go back and forth. They can pick a color. It'll also automatically save. Everything is saved to the cloud. Just a great way for students to get their ideas out and to be able to collaborate and comment on each other's ideas. So here we have Worldbook Kids, which is an online encyclopedia, digital encyclopedia, that is much more interactive, multimodal, and just engaging for students. So when trying to fill in background knowledge or learn more about a topic, students can type in any topic that they wish to learn more about. So for this case, we would be looking to learn more about World War II. So we could click on that. And what ends up popping up are tons of articles all about World War II. So if we clicked on the first one, we could see here's a picture of World War II. There's videos that we could watch. It hyperlinks to other articles that are connected to World War II. And it's really just a really great resource for students to be able to fill in their background knowledge and do it in a way that's really interesting and engaging. Videos, annotated diagrams, text, lots of pictures. It makes sense for students and it's easy and interesting to read.